Pastor Ize-Iyamu trains 40 youths in ICT. On Thursday, the 2nd of October 2015, the Edo State National Youth Council at Apapava Road, Benin City, played host to the unveiling of the 40 youths to be trained by Pastor Ize-Iyamu in web design. The hall, which was full to capacity, witnessed the 40 youths who were selected from across the 18 local government areas of Edo State. The youths selected by the body of the Edo State chapter of the National Youth Council were made up of largely unemployed graduates who have become disillusioned by their inability to secure a job after acquiring a requisite educational training. It will be recalled that their benefactor, Pastor Ize-Iyamu, who feels challenged by the high rate of unemployed youths in the state, has since commenced training of youths in agricultural-related field at his IO Farms and Training Institute.
I'm quite happy, honestly speaking, to be here this morning. A lot of people try to figure out what is the greatest problem in our nation. Some have said the biggest problem that we have today is Boko Haram, but I don't think so. Boko Haram is a face, and that face, by the grace of God, we go. So Boko Haram is not the greatest problem that we have. And those who say the greatest problem that we have is corruption are also wrong. Because if you say our problem is corruption, you are stigmatizing Nigerians unnecessarily. Corruption cannot be our greatest problem. It's just that we choose to play politics with everything, we sermonize over everything. Corruption is the easiest thing to deal with. Recently, Bishop Kuka gave an interview and he made an interesting statement. And if you take the most corrupt Nigerian public official and you carry him to America, he will not be corrupt. No. Simply because the system will not allow him to do those things that you call corruption. So corruption is only in this country because the necessary framework, we have refused to deal with it. This is one country where a governor or a president can say, go and bring me 1 billion. And without question, they will just go and give it to him. And they will not even sign for it. But abroad, an American president cannot say he wants $1 billion. He cannot. He can't see money. There is a framework. Nobody will go and collect even $10,000 to an American president. And if he takes it, he must account for every kobo, he must retire that amount of money to the last kobo. But a man can take $1 billion here, and he doesn't have to account for it. In America, if you go and collect more than $10,000 in cash, the bank invites security agencies. Somebody just collected $10,000. Even by the exchange rate today in this country, that's just 2.something million. But you know that people go to the bank in Nigeria and they say they want 200 million and they give them. And it's not, so corruption is not something we cannot deal with if we want to deal with it. All we need to do is to create the institutional and legal framework. I listened to every I was saying that in the past few years, we spent so much money on independence celebration. But this time, we spent 70 billion. Welcome to change. I don't think so. Because it was the government before And what you ought to be asking is how much was projected for Independence Day celebration? If last year the National Assembly that is supposed to protect our rights chose to budget 10 billion for Independence Day celebration, you have given the politicians and the civil servants enough money to fix it. But if you're also realistic and realize that 10 billion is unrealistic, and you now decide to put 50 million, you have to pay 50 million. So we get what we want. And for me, corruption is not our biggest problem. Our biggest problem is unemployment. As long as we leave this issue of unemployment, Nigeria is sitting on the time bomb. Boko Haram, a lot of those suicide bombers, if they were gainfully employed, would they put bombs around themselves and blow themselves up? No. I'm asking. No. That's the truth. Is somebody who has no hope, somebody who is frustrated, somebody that believes that society does not care, that can be convinced to carry bomb, strap it around you and go somewhere and detonate. Somebody who is working, somebody who is enlightened will say, you telling me, you go and do it. Since you know how to do it, there's no need to teach me, you go and do it. But the level of unemployment is so high that nobody can be quarreling today about insurgency or militancy or crime. They all flew from the level of unemployment because nobody is taking the pace to ask themselves, our youth, when they leave their father's house, how will they fend for themselves? A lot of the courses that we do in the university are not courses that will give you employment when you leave the university. And that is why I also want to blame our educational system. Because all they are just doing now is giving us certificates and degrees without asking themselves, by the time these people leave this institution, will they be able to get a job? So today you have thousands of people with degrees, masters, PhD holders, and yet they have no job. So for me, I'm very passionate about the issue of employment, about the issue of empowerment. And you can't be criticizing when you yourself have done nothing about it. Yes, we expect government to set the direction. We expect government to take the initiative. But we also concede that government cannot do it alone. But for us to also be able to have the moral rights to talk to government, we must as much as possible set examples. Not only by paying your taxes, but also by being able to employ, become true an employer of labor. Because in many places, the biggest employer of labor is the private sector. It's not even government, but government must create a enabling environment. So I've been thinking to myself, you go down Benin, you go down Edo State, and you see a lot of our youths. They are home. Lagos is even slightly better. Apart from the area boys who will just dismiss with a wave of the hand. A lot of times you see a young boy in Lagos and ask him, how do I see you on a weekday? You probably bring the card and say, see me, meet me in my office. But in Benin, in Ekoma, in Igara, in Awuchi, it's very, very difficult to see a young man on a working day and you ask him, where do I meet you tomorrow? And he'll be able to say, come to my office. He'll most probably ask you, tell me where you will be, let me come and meet you. Or meet me in this joint. Or come to my house. They have no office. They have no place to work. And that can be very frustrating. So I thought about it, I said, look, what do I do? I'm not interested in just calling some boys and giving them money, which of course they will spend in a matter of days. Even if they are very selfish and keep it to themselves, how long will the money last? And if they have a good heart and want to share it among their friends, it means that even that same day, the money will finish. So what we need to do is to be able to look for something that we can encourage the youths to get involved in, which we are sure that by the time they finish, they can fend for themselves. So by the time I made my consultation, it was clear to me that one of the best areas that I can do some little empowerment program to encourage and provoke others to do the same thing was in the area of IT. That is one area a lot of our youths are not keen into, but that is the future. For those who want to go abroad, that will be a key that will open many doors for them. For those who want to stay in Nigeria, that too can be a key that will put them on the road of self-employment. My sister was talking just now, the director of computers. He said IT is an area where you can determine what you want to earn. It's not somebody saying what I will pay you. No, you tell the person, this is what I want, what I've done for you. You can determine your salary. You can determine your income on a weekly and on a monthly basis. And so I went to complete computers technology. And I told them I wanted a program that we cut across. I'm from Orion. I live in Benin. I'm from Edo South. But I'm an Edo State indigene. If I confine myself to my local government or to my senatorial, that will not be far-reaching enough. So what I want is a program that will cover the 18 local governments. In every local government, I want at least 2 persons to be involved. We look through all kinds of programs. There are some programs that are cheaper than the program we are about to do. But I told them, I said the program that I want is a program that by the time they finish, if they are serious with it, by the time they finish, they will not need to say they are still looking for a job. I want a program that by the time they finish, they will be able to fend for themselves. A program that on the basis of that, they can begin to put money on the table. And we look at it. The number that we have chosen for this first phase is 40. 40 of you are here. But it's still an expensive program. And that is why, in choosing the beneficiaries, I told myself, I don't want it to be a personal thing. There are many people within my family who also need this kind of empowerment. There are people within my church who need this kind of empowerment. There are people within my party, the PDP, who want kind of empowerment. But must we restrict it to that? I said, no. Let it not be personal, let it not be church, and let it not be on the basis of my party. Let me come to the body recognized by the federal government to handle youth matters. I will come to the National Youth Council. And I will tell them, go and select the 40. Among those here, let me announce that there's none of them that recommended. Did I recommend any of you? There's none of them. And in fact, looking at most of them, I think I've probably seen them for the first time. And if any of them have met me, if any of them have seen me before, perhaps on TV. Have any of you come to my house before? Yes. So I really don't even know them. Whether they are in PDP, or they are in APC, or they are Christians, or they are Muslims, I don't know. But what I do know, what I insisted, is that they must come from Edo State. Charity begins at home. They must come from the 18 local governments. But of course, because charity begins at home, I also insisted that in our local government union, instead of having 2, they must have 4. And because I'm gender sensitive, I was afraid that in choosing these people, it's possible they may not even bring any female. So I said 2 extra must be females. I'm happy that the youth councils have been able to discharge this assignment. But I also told them that it's not enough to just choose 40 persons. These 40 persons must be computer literate. Number 2, web designing is an advanced area of IT. So there must be somebody, there must be people who are interested in IT. But if they are not interested, they will find out that the course will not make any sense. So after a while, they will drop out. My prayer is that none of you will drop out. Amen. So I told them, I said, call many people. But we must also call the experts from complete computers. Let them join to screen. And from there, let us find those who will be qualified for this kind of empowerment. And they did the screening, I think 2 or 3 times. And eventually, they came up with these 40 names. I congratulate you. I want to appeal to you to take it seriously. If you don't take it seriously, you have wasted my money and you have wasted the initiative. Because for me, the way I can judge the success of this empowerment program is not through your graduation. Yes, you have a certificate that is recognized all over the world. Beautiful. But for me, the real assessment of whether this was successful is if after you have graduated, months later, people will be able to come to me and say, Pastor, we are now working. Thank you very much. That to me is the only way I can measure your success. So I want to appeal to you to ensure that you go to all the classes. The director has told you that the class will start on Monday. So please go to all the classes because your attendance is also part of your overall score. If you don't pass, they will not give a certificate because the certificate is international. They are affiliated with foremost trainers in the world. And so the certificate that they give to you, if you travel to America tomorrow and you get a certificate, you can get employed. If you go to India, you get a certificate, you can get employed. So they are not going to give it to you simply because somebody has paid them or because you just went through their classes. You can only get a certificate if you pass. And if you don't pass, it means you have wasted the slot you gave to your local government. An opportunity that other youths in your place will have had, you have wasted it. So I want to appeal to you to take this assignment very, very seriously. If you succeed, then tomorrow you can come and do more. And tomorrow you can also join me as a pastor. Only you cannot do it. If you are sponsoring 40 Because I'm also now making money, I will also sponsor 2 or 3. It's not impossible. Is it possible? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. It's possible. My prayer is that if you think of a few years from now, for a few years, the kind of computer skills you set up will be bigger than their own. It will be better than their own. I'm going to give you a little stipend. I've already paid to computer all the money for your materials and your training. I want to provoke you more. I'm going to give you an envelope to enable you attend lecture. It's not too big, it's not too small. You want to drink beer with it, and depending on your consumption, you can finish it today. But my advice is that you can determine what your future will be. And if you see what is written, I'm going to stand up. Can somebody read what is written on his back? Now listen, it's not a political slogan. It's a wake-up call. It's to tell you that every day that passes by, your time is slipping by. Your time is not tomorrow. Your time is now. Your future is now. The more you think tomorrow, I will do better. Tomorrow I will go to school. Tomorrow I will take life seriously. You just wake up and find out that you have become an old man. That's the way age comes. It just creeps. You will now realize that you're no longer as young as you used to be. So your future is now. So I want to congratulate you. And I'm going to be monitoring your progress.
The sole sponsor of the training program, Pastor Ize-Iyamu, while handing over some financial assistance to the beneficiaries to elevate their cost of daily transportation to the venue of the training, the beneficiaries who were full of praises for Pastor Ize-Iyamu. Pastor Ize-Iyamu maintained that a concerted provision of this manner of succor could stem the tide of resistiveness and high rate of criminality among the youths.